All right, good evening, everybody. The time is 6:31, May 23rd, 2023, Abington Conservation Commission meeting. I'm going to switch the agenda around a little bit so Mr. Fury doesn't have to be bored for 45 minutes. You want to just get up to the podium? So the first item is going to be permit extension located at 500 Chestnut Street.
Hi, Peter Fiore from 500 Chestnut Street. Would like to get an extension to our order of conditions for 3 years.
Did we already give you one? Did we give
We
you?
gave them last year, I don't know if it was...
We gave 1 year last year.
1 year, yeah.
Can we give them a full 3 or can we only give them 2 because we've already given them 1? I think we only give 3-year extensions. I don't think we give more than that.
And what happens if he does it, if he doesn't finish it in 2 years?
So,
I haven't been up there since I did the site work.
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
we've been continuously working up there for
Oh,
the
yeah.
last 3.5 years. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot of work. We're not going to finish in the next 3 years. Each building takes about a year. We got delayed with COVID. Our first building took 2 years to put up because we couldn't get anything. And now we're starting to gain traction. So if we can get a 3-year extension, then we can just keep moving forward.
Actually, if you look on the form, at the bottom, the date can be no more than 3 years from the expiration date of the orders of condition or the latest extension. Only unexpired orders of conditions or extensions may be extended. So,
Well, these aren't expired.
no, they're not.
Yeah.
No, so we can't, it does allow us to do
Yeah.
3 if we want.
So
We
do you
just
want-
have to make sure we know the date of the last extension.
It says June 2nd, 2023, so it would be from that date, I think, right? 'Cause that was the last extension.
That would have been in
So-
the future though, right?
There was a little hiccup with the last one. It didn't get approved till July 26th. I submitted it on time.
Also, it would be from July 26th
Yeah.
that we would,
Because this is June
Well,
2nd.
June 2nd was the original.
That's when
it's
those-
last.
That's when the original,
But that's
yeah,
2023?
it's gotta be a typo.
That typo?
Yeah, because that's when it would expire.
So the date of the last extension, I should have put there July 26th.
So we extended it on July 26, 2022, and what he's
Right.
saying is it is expiring June 2nd, 2023.
I see, okay.
So if we do 3 years from June 5th, 2023,
yeah.
that makes sense? 2026, wow.
So May 26th, is that what we're saying? May
June,
26th?
no,
No, June.
June
June
2nd.
2nd,
June
2026.
2nd, 2026.
Six.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? There's nobody in the audience? Bring it back to the board. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to extend, permit extension for 500 Chestnut Street till June 2nd, 2026.
Give a
I'm
second.
sorry.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
That was funny.
A little entertaining.
I've done that before. Okay.
All right, next up, discussion and possible vote on abbreviated notice of resource area delineation located at 164 North Quincy Street. Alex, Larry, and I did a site walk out there this afternoon around 5:30. Started walking around the property, didn't get all the way around. We were there with Mr. Zachary. Took a look at the two ILSFs, and we worked our way out to the front edge of the BVW. The A series of the ILSF, I hate saying that. There was some standing water in certain spots. It was mucky. You could walk over the material. We didn't sink in the mud. The B series, that narrow channel, that was, I think we said was like what, 450 feet. That was mostly dry. There were a couple damp spots in it, but then as you get out to the end, like you're working your way back towards the BBW, there was water water there. I mean, we got an inch of rain on Saturday, so it's expected. Tony's gonna forward him the quote for the peer reviewer, which is gonna be BSC. I asked him if he wanted us to get another quote. He was fine with the quote that we gave him, or that we received.
Okay.
He just wants to get an answer sooner rather than later, so
Okay.
you can send that to him, Tony, tonight or tomorrow, and get the ball rolling on that so we can get BSC scheduled. And I'm gonna be doing another site walk to finish over there on Wednesday around 5 o'clock. Anybody have any questions, or continue it to the next meeting?
So the 450-foot channel, that went down to like a basin, you said? I
Yeah,
remember-
just like it's shown on the plans.
Okay,
Yep. And also, there's a lot of trash that looks like it's being brought in from one of the abutters, I don't know who.
okay. Did you, in your walk, did you see any huge outcroppings of giant stones? And you did?
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Were
little-
they like 6 feet tall and everything?
Bigger than that,
Okay,
yeah.
Kind of like Ames Knoll when you go
It's
past.
just, yeah, just
That
like,
sort of
I guess just like if you went down underneath the power lines, just if there's no vegetation down there and all the outcroppings.
Yeah.
But now you have it
Yeah.
over there.
okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
And all the flags were in place and everything?
I didn't count everyone, but
Okay. No, I was just wondering, I mean, one of the things when I had read
they're clearly marked out.
Okay.
and-
that was my,
Yep.
yep.
So does somebody want to make a motion to continue this to the next meeting?
I'll make a motion to continue the discussion on 161 North Quincy Street until the next meeting.
I'll
Have a
second.
All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. All right, next up,
Paul, I have a question. When the peer reviewer, can we set up a date for a meeting for all of us to
I-
walk?
I want to.
Because if we can get him on board soon, maybe we can even walk it before our next meeting. Which
Yeah, I
would be
want,
great.
I want everybody, well, whoever wants to go from the commission, I want us to be represented. I want the applicant to be represented with their specialist and our peer reviewer. My goal is at that site walk, the peer review, that everybody knows what's expected. So at the next meeting, we have a plan, whether it's the same plan we have or if there's tweaks to it, we know we can vote on it and be done with it, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, there could be something that comes out of that walk,
Yeah.
but
But hopefully it-
But I know we were trying to get out there before the vegetation got really bad.
But hopefully our peer reviewer and his engineer can agree in the field, and we go with the recommendations of both parties. All right, so next up is SE 084-553, discussion, and there's no vote, on project located at 154 Brockton Ave. So have we gotten the stamp plan from Ken yet? Can you reach out to, I don't know if it's Ken or, okay, that might have been about the other next thing. So I don't know if you want to reach out to Lisa or Mento or Ken, because June is fast approaching. Then also get a schedule on when they plan to go out there and start the work. All right, next up, discussion on 95 Nile Street. So we received an email yesterday from Ken Thompson. Tony forwarded it to Tim and myself. The property owners, the Kellys, have hired him to work up a plan on the stabilization for the slope. And we told them that they need to fill out, or file a notice of intent showing that work and also showing the trees that were discussed when you three did the site walk and was discussed at the meeting 2 weeks ago. He has put up some sort of possible erosion control barrier. Somebody want to take a site walk out there sometime this week? We can set it up, take a look at it.
Sure.
You want to set that up with the Kellys? Afternoons work best. Same thing, like 5
Yeah.
o'clock-ish.
Yeah, that usually works
Okay.
fine.
Or lunchtime, too.
Yeah, lunchtime's good too.
Anybody have any other questions about that? Huh? Reach out to them, see what day works. I'm sure somebody can get out there one day this week. All right, next up, discussion and possible vote on the ANRAD checklist. So, do we want to go over the technical first or the administrative first?
The administrative's shorter, so let's do that first.
This is essentially not that much different from the NOI checklist.
Len, did you take basically everything from the final draft of the NOI checklist and
Yeah.
work off of that? So like all the language that we changed from all the original drafts of the NOI checklist?
Yeah.
How do we feel about town council reviewing this? That's something I wanted to ask about.
For what reason?
Just so what was nice for providing us a little bit. And then bringing that town council review on regs going forward, I think it'd be nice to have their input. Especially because all of us are not law majors.
But it's just a checklist, so I'm not sure. The regs I understand.
In my opinion. Maybe you could throw it on and ask if we could review it before the next meeting.
Did we do that for the NOI checklist?
I would like to have both reviewed at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it, I guess.
Yeah, just whether the town manager really wants us to do it or not, because it is an expense. You know, and
Yeah.
it is just a checklist, guys.
Well,
I mean, the regs, I'm more likely to agree.
Tony can look into it and we can
Yeah.
go through it now and
Yeah,
if we want to make any changes before it goes there.
but it,
I just wanted to throw that out there that I would like to offer that.
And thank you for looking over that, because she caught some, I had NOI still on there, and she was like, it's supposed to be NRAD. So thank you for catching those. So yeah, it's basically the same thing, except it's pretty much downsized, because you don't need as much stuff in comparison to an NOI.
and I will make the point that this is asking for a digital copy, and I think we need to start insisting on getting digital copies of everything.
Absolutely.
And we're not going to, I think we shouldn't be accepting anything that we don't get a digital copy for, because it's getting, you know, we get requests from, for records, plus just us being able to get access to things.
Right, and also just trying to get it out to the peer review is, you know, it's.
That's the other.
Exactly, yep.
That-
You know.
And honestly, we were getting, when I was on it the last time, we were getting most of it electronically, so I don't know what happened in
Yeah, and
between.
they're, it's not like it's something,
They probably have it electronically, guys.
that's how they print out the
Probably
files.
cheaper for them
Yeah,
in some ways, so. But
absolutely.
I think. it
No,
would
I
be-
still like the full set of plans.
I like to be able,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think for the file in particular, but I like but it asks for that as well.
No,
for
just
us.
like Gene said, it speeds up the, I don't know how many days were lost because we were waiting to get the
There was a
electronic
few.
file for the last
Yeah,
one.
so
Yeah.
I really, but it just was something that has been bugging me, that we were not necessarily getting the digital, and we should be getting it. It shouldn't be that hard. Because I know with the work I do, everything is digital first.
Yep.
I know Andrew mentioned at a training last February that we're not supposed to send paper stuff, right? Everything has to be through the EDEP thing. He said they've refused to store any more paper.
The mailing.
Really? Because he was like, no more, no more. So to have that digital thing would be good. but I still like,
We still like paper, because we have the room.
I like to have the whole thing spread
Yeah.
out and,
Well,
Use
now, like,
markers
when I
and
bid
stuff.
on work 10 years ago, everything was pick up a set, go to the engineers and pick up a set of plans and have them mailed to you. And you get a CD with the digital on it. Now, I'd say probably 75% of the plans I get are either on a disk, a thumb drive, or emailed, or on a Dropbox, and we pay to print them out now.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, DEP is moving to that EDEP. A lot of their records are already there. Wetlands just hasn't got there, but they may eventually be making the applicant's file that way as well, which would be nice, because then you probably have a database that
Oh,
can
I think
access.
they do, because when we did the comp study on the fees, their paperwork said, here's the electronic file to it's like the building permits you do electronically now, too.
Right. They just haven't required it for the wetlands
Right.
yet. I thought the administrative was in good shape. I didn't have any comments on it.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't, my only comment was that we took all the wording from the NOI to the last, or the approved NOI checklist.
Yeah, she did.
All right, anybody have any changes they'd like to see made to this one? All right, we'll go to the technical.
technical one is the same thing, paring it down from the NOI checklist. There are some things you don't, one of the things is the color coding. And one of the issues is that we now introduced, a no disturbance zone, a no build zone. We have 100-foot riverfront ponds and lakes zones. So I basically just said, see the wetland setback regulations for specifics for the red, because it was just going to be a crazy table for people to use. And then the area calculations table, I got to pare that way down because we weren't asking for much, because we're not asking like, what are you proposing for hardscape and stuff like that. It's just, what do you have? We did add one thing. The acknowledgement of the bylaw and the regulations
Oh, at the end, I saw that.
at the end.
Yeah.
So that is a new thing. Basically, what they say is that they agree to abide by basically our regulations as defined in the bylaw and the regulations,
I think it's really, the intent is to make them aware that they exist.
that they exist, yeah, and that they've read them.
I think you did a nice job.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
On page 3, flagging should not be removed until Concom issues a certificate of compliance. On the INRAD, we don't issue a certificate of compliance.
Right, and I was thinking about getting rid of that.
Yep.
But then
I know why, because what's the next step after you approve an INRAD?
Yeah. I know it looked a little funny and I was gonna get rid of it, and then we've had issues where people have it and then they come back and they're like, oh, we removed it before we even had a chance to look at their NOI.
And then mark the following areas with colored tape or flags in labeled stakes. I think it should be one of the 3 options, either tape, flags, or labeled stakes.
Oh, okay, so just one. Well, one of them has a prominent stake at the entrance.
Which, that's another, I mean,
But I know,
I don't know what that's gonna accomplish.
you don't think we should have a prominent stake? Get rid of 4?
Huh?
Get rid of number 4?
I would.
Okay. And then just say, mark the following areas with colored tape or flags.
And what are we gonna, I mean, what do we want for property boundary? Same thing, just this, I mean, if they already have bounds in the ground that are clearly visible, do they need to put a stake in the ground?
So, what was that?
The property boundaries.
Generally,
A surveyor,
I never see anything, that's already been surveyed. Usually they go in and, do a different color flag for the survey. I don't think I've ever gone in.
oh, I think we just
and
saw
seen
one,
this. Did you see like a granite, a marker?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen,
I've seen them, yeah.
on one of the ones we went out last summer, I don't remember if that was the one Andrew was with us or not, there were survey stakes way out.
But they're saying that
Oh,
they're
right.
permanent markers, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The permanent.
Oh, permanent, oh,
Permanent.
oh,
Not permanent.
no, just as property boundaries right here.
Right, no, but they're saying there's already, what
I
they're
mean,
saying is if there's already permanent
it's not a big
markers.
deal to put a stake down next to a granite post.
No,
either,
it's
so
not. I think it's just easier, and then we'll know where they are. And, these properties, sometimes they're kind of irregular, so you might not be obvious where the next stake is, not stake, granite post or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And that's pretty straightforward, and these are same thing, all these forms are basically just the same ones for the NOI checklist, correct?
Yeah. Those two, it's just the acknowledgement of the bylaw and regulations.
Yep.
That's the only one.
Anybody have any questions? Or edits? A little clearer than the ones we discussed?
I think they're good.
I do too.
So Tony, you can make or whoever wants to, whether you want to do it and send it to Tony, and then she can talk to Scott and see if we want to bounce it off town council, and then get their comments hopefully by the next meeting, and then vote on it. So, somebody want to make a motion to continue?
I'll make a motion to continue the discussion and possible vote for the ANRAD checklist till the next.
Could we just approve it contingent on?
Oh, yeah,
town
we-
Yeah, but
council?
what if they make changes to it?
But it will be in place, What I worry is that
It'll get,
we've been pushing it off for like 6 weeks, so, I'm kind of anxious to see it get in place.
I kind of agree with that because that happened with the NOI. So we could make a motion to,
Well, there's already a motion on the table, so either we
Okay.
approve it or we deny it, and then,
or I can I can withdraw it.
yeah.
So I'll withdraw that motion and make a new motion to approve the ANRAD checklist with the consideration of it being reviewed and any changes need to be made prior to the next meeting after it's reviewed by town manager and possibly,
Did you write all that down?
I'm trying to figure out how I want to phrase that.
Probably contingent on
Contingent on the
review
approval
by
of-
town council,
Right.
if the town manager warrants it,
Yeah.
that's all. I just figured we should,
Well,
I
yeah,
think we like it.
Who's gonna second that one?
God,
I shortened it for you.
you did. I'm sorry.
I'll let someone else, since I wrote it, someone else can second.
I guess it's
I'll
not.
second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, next up. Oh, discussion and possible vote on restoration areas 3, 4, and 5 located at 0 Hancock Street. So, they were out there today working on area number 2.
Oh, great.
And I know when we voted on the plans for areas 1 and 2 last September, I think it was. When they went back into work this spring, they were gonna do the restoration on area 2. While they were out there, excavate area 3 to see the scope of work. So I'm gonna reach out to Nicole, see how they made out, if they've made it that far yet. And then if they can get a plan together before our next meeting, I'd like to have somebody or 2 of us act as like an agent that can go out there and look at the plan they have and basically approve it. So that we're not waiting 2 weeks to let them plant as we're getting later into the season now. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think it's,
So we would go physically out into the field per se, look at it and say, yeah, this looks good ahead of time, or?
Well, she'd either email you a plan or do a site walk and agree there. I've done stuff like that with Concom agents where time is of the essence and they're acting on the board's behalf, and as long as we end up getting something in writing to add to our file.
Right. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sounds like a good plan, actually.
it does, being proactive instead of waiting.
Who's gonna do it?
I'll do one of them. Yeah, I'll take one of those. spots.
Okay. Do we wanna do 2? I think it's probably better, that way if Tim's not available, somebody else can jump in.
Sure.
Gene, you coming with me?
Yeah,
All right.
Tim.
Does anybody else wanna do it, or wanna just vote?
I can do it too.
Well, so then we'll have 2 people at each time, because if I
You can do
can't.
3, I mean.
Yeah, only because if somebody can't make it, if Tim can't make it, then we're not out there by ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
You know, it's always good to have a
The three of
second
us
set of
will do it
eyes.
Together.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, because,
I agree. I
Yeah.
think it's a good idea.
All right, then I will make a motion,
We're like a little subcommittee.
yeah,
hopefully a short-lived one.
Yeah.
I will make a motion that Tim Warner, Lynn Mullen, and Gene Metiosis will act as Abington Concom's agents with regards to the restoration of areas 3, 4, and 5 for 0 Hancock Street.
I'll second that.
Good, because you're the only one that can.
They actually can, but it's better that he does.
yeah.
How do we vote on it, though?
There's not a conflict of interest. They don't.
Okay, they can all vote, okay.
We agree.
All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Building permits and site visits. I know Tony did a site visit today over 20 Hancock Street. They removed the, well, they didn't remove the trees, they cut the trees down and left the trees and stump in place, correct?
Where was that?
Yeah. Remember we voted on giving them the permission to do it?
What address?
0
What we
Hancock.
just talked
Those
about.
trees that were.
You know, the dead fall trees that
Yeah.
tipped over.
Oh,
Yeah.
those, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that,
I
yeah.
just remember that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay,
Okay, cool,
no, that's good. Tony has pictures if you guys want to see them.
Sure.
cool.
And they started working on area number 2 today.
Good.
So hopefully we get a report for area 1. I know Nicole said she was gonna work on that when they were out there starting area 2.
Okay.
Excellent.
Other site visits. I know Jean did one.
I did. I was out there on May 18th for the tree removal for the property of Wyman Road. I met the homeowners, the tree company was there, and they started right on time, 8 o'clock. They came in, 2 men, 1 machine, 2 guys. And they removed 3 trees along the river in under 2 hours and chopped them all up, and they were sweeping the street. It was amazing. They did not damage any surrounding trees. I've never seen anything like that in my life. A big crane came in and just,
That's the right way to do it.
Were you nervous watching them up there in the crane?
well, the homeowner's husband was very nervous. He was like, I'm standing there looking out the window going, wow, that's incredible. You know, it's dangling over the roof, but it was like, I've never seen anything like that. It's absolutely crazy. Even, they had a detail there. They had to have so as not to interfere with people going in and up and down the street. So, I mean, they were very, very considerate of, you know, the surrounding area and the resource area and the river. So they did an awesome job.
And they left the stumps,
They
right?
left the stumps so that there's no degradation to the bank or anything, and they intend to just leave it like that. It was pretty impressive. I've never seen anything like that.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It was like up and over the house, over the wires. I was like, whoa. And then they just had this giant, massive chipper that they threw the whole tree in, and it just disappeared. I was
Bring
like,
the right equipment, it goes
Are they
fast.
planning on planting more trees too?
yes, I believe they are.
So they're gonna have to come before us
Yeah, but right now, they're just gonna, you know,
with an RDA?
yeah, it's just there, but it was, in under 2 hours, 3 trees.
Do they understand that they have to come before us to plant the other trees?
I
or is it worth
believe
reaching
they
out
do.
to them?
They wanted to follow the letter of conservation. They're big conservationists. They don't like taking down trees, but these, unfortunately, one was infested with carpenter ants that were unbelievable, and the other one was just dead. And the other one had ants too, so, yeah, they were very, very good.
Did the, you know, whatever you gave them to tell them permission to do it, did you tell them, does it say to file with us? It says to file a request for determination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was just for the stumps, because I know the other property, they told you guys they were doing trees.
Yeah, I think for these emergency ones, you know, some documentation with a request for determination afterwards might be a really good idea for us. Like, let them take down the tree, but require them to do a request just to document it.
Yep.
So that there's no question in the future what happened at that site, that they have followed the law. I think that might be a really smart thing, and it's cheap. It's not very expensive to do a request for determination. But I think that might be good paperwork for us. We just haven't had this experience yet, right?
Right, I mean, we have the new regulations, and then we have to figure out what to do about them going in and not replacing the trees. Well, I guess replacing them, right? Planting the trees, like, when is that gonna happen?
Right.
Is it gonna happen?
No, but even if they weren't cutting trees down, they'd still have to come before us if it's within a 200-foot riverfront.
Yeah.
That's my only concern.
The question, I mean, I don't know if we make it really clear in our regulations that if you cut down a certain size tree for an emergency, that you have to plant. Because I know when we were at the sidewalk, I hadn't even thought about that.
Right.
And I don't know if we made it very clear that even if it's an emergency, we need to have them do that.
Right.
So we're going to change, that one, I think we have to put the performance standard language in there. So we're going to revise it a little bit, so we could probably, I'll try to mush the language some to make it clear that even in an emergency, you still have to follow what we require.
Right.
And that would probably solve it from here on in. At least we'll have figured out what we're doing. But yeah, I don't think it was very clear in the reg.
We didn't have any of these instances in the past.
What? We did talk about emergency trees in there, but we just didn't talk about replication.
Yeah,
I think the idea is that what was in there was meant for someone who comes before us with an NOI, and they're gonna cut down, you know, some more mature trees, not, you know, the homeowner who has 3 trees that are hanging over their house, and that seemed to be more of a separate thing, like here's an exception, but nothing after that.
Right.
And then if, you know, so we can make that change in the regulation, but then the question becomes, with these 2 property owners, what do we do about the trees that they need to plant? Do we just go, okay, cool, see you in, I don't know, 5 years? And hope you planted them like we asked? I mean, how are we gonna
Monitor?
monitor is that, make certain that they actually do cut down, plant additional trees.
I'd like to see them do it the same season, too.
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah, it's a good thought, Tim. Yeah.
All right, other site visits?
Yes, Alex and I went to 1400 Bedford Street. So they had a catch basin that they altered. So there's 3 different areas that we looked at. First one was a catch basin, which is initially what they filed for, to modify a catch basin, put a gas hood in it. Then it goes into a drain manhole, and then across Route 18 into the Mass.
Is this Sorrells?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. And that was all set, that looked good. Then there was another spot behind the building that shows it was paved on the plan, but it's actually not, it's just millings. And before that, when it was Fininetti's, it was gravel, so basically that was just an error on the plans. And then there was one area, on the north side of the property, they added about 7 parking spots, which was millings, and it shows millings on the plan, so that was the only real discrepancy with the plan, is that area. 7 parking spots, I didn't scale it to see square footage, but it does all pitch to the catch basins, it doesn't go out into the wetlands or anything.
And they lost a bunch of parking spots.
When they did the widening of Route 18, yeah, I think that was the idea of adding that.
Wow, that's right.
No, they added those before.
Was that paid before? Yeah, actually, that was, yeah, because that was in 2017, I think.
Yeah, it's a long story.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was intentional, any of it.
No, it didn't seem it anyways. But yeah, that's pretty much what we saw. We suggested that they file an RDA with, the changes on the plans.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And that's because planning board? or-
Yeah, they picked up on
They
it,
picked
yeah.
up on it, is
Yep.
that why? Okay.
Good. Sounds
Other
good.
site visits?
I wanna, well, like we discussed before, but animal tree,
Oh, yeah.
Have you reached out to them? Have they done the delineation yet? Okay, reach out to them, we'll set something up.
and then,
That'll be... I haven't seen anything. Who's gonna go for that one, Alex, Gene and Lynn for that, since you guys,
We did it before.
I know the first 2 were Alex and Gene, and the second time was Alex and Lynn.
and then, Pedrosa, any news on that?
Yeah, Tony's gonna reach out to him, I think he said he's gonna be back, I thought he might be back now.
I thought
I thought it was like the 20th or 21st.
What property is it?
At 766 Bedford Street, I believe.
He's into the burning bushes instead of red maples.
Oh. Oh, and how are we doing with Hanson tree?
Tony reached out, well, she got the wrong address, so that's why the certified mail was never accepted. So she sent out the other day another to the correct address.
Thank you.
Have we heard back yet? I think that's it for site visits. Oh, I did a site visit. Tim also did one over to the bridge over on Central.
Oh, how's that going?
When did we go out to?
We were out there 2 weeks ago. And you took pictures and there was things that were supposed to be done that weren't done.
I know the concrete is still in the channel.
Okay, they had the bridge over the top of it. We did not see. She went crawling down there and like, please don't fall in. But they hadn't,
Don't go in there, because there's a snapping turtle the size of,
yeah,
Podium, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, there
oh
is.
yeah.
But they hadn't put in any of the pipe that comes out that was there. There was nothing around that. And the water curtain needed some reinforcing.
Yep.
And, yeah.
So we need to see when they're gonna get in there and get those large, it's probably, I would say, what, softball sized
Yeah.
pieces of concrete.
When we went there, we were there at 2:30 in the afternoon and there was nobody there.
Yeah, it's been quiet. Very
It's been
quiet.
real quiet. I mean,
I don't know if they're waiting for pieces or something, maybe to finish it, I have no idea.
I don't know. But going by the temple there, I mean, that's coming along.
That looks nice, yeah.
That looks really
Yeah, They did a
pretty.
good job with that.
Yep.
Have they cleaned up the back here?
I have no idea, I haven't been over there.
Yeah,
just saw
it's
it.
good, let's take a look at that, yeah. Meeting minutes, we have nothing to approve at this meeting. Correspondence, anything? No correspondence. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, yeah.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.